Hello and welcome back to my channel. Who am I, you might ask? Well, I'm sexy, filtered, stand-up comedian, pop culture vulture, Joleen Lunzer. Here for another video. What did they do to my teeth? But for real, I'm back as myself. Or how some people in the comments see me. Okay, back to business. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Stand-up comedian, pop culture vulture, and commentarian, Joleen Lunzer, here for another video. Now, warning, this video will contain politics.
Why? Insert Chris Kirkpatrick, dun dun dun, with his unbrushed tongue.
So if you're not here for the politics, it's not your thing, you don't want to deal with it right now, I'll catch you on the next video. But if you can handle it, I'm sure you can, we're all adults here, then stick around, smash that like, hit that subscribe, and let's get started. Did you guys know that Bernie Sanders, Vermont's own, a man of maple syrup, is a time traveler? He warned people 20 years ago what was coming, and we were like, okay, cool, awesome. What is it, like 2004? I just want to go to a Ryan Reynolds movie. I'm just T9 texting right now. Bernie Sanders talked to some students on C-SPAN. I know, what's C-SPAN? And basically laid out the entire playbook, the game plan for Donald Trump.
How does the Republican Party do so good? And now I'm going to tell you something that very few people in Congress would tell you. If you are the Republican leadership, and this is what your goals are to give huge tax breaks to the very richest people in this country. Your goals are ultimately to privatize Social Security so that Wall Street can make money from that. Privatize Medicare so the insurance companies can make more money. Privatize education. Do away with public schools. If those are your goals and you said that to the American people, you think you get a lot of... There are many members of the Congress today, Republicans, who not only will not raise the minimum wage, which is $5.15 an hour, you know what they will tell you, honestly? They believe in abolishing the minimum wage. Did you know that? Check it out. Telling you the truth.
And since social media and the internet wasn't as poppin', then I'm assuming a lot of these kids listening to Bernie Sanders are like, whose grandfather is this and why is he here today? Was it bring your grandparent to work day? Okay. Not knowing that living legend, according to me, Bernie Sanders is talking to them and dropping some knowledge about what was currently happening in politics and what was to come in politics.
So that if Americans can work for $3 an hour or $2 an hour, not a problem. Now, if you had an agenda like that and you went before the American people, tax breaks for the rich, destruction of Medicare, destruction of Social Security, as we know it, lowering the minimum wage or abolishing it, how many votes do you think you'd get? Not a whole lot. Maybe the richest 1% would vote for you. That's not a lot of votes.
Now we're talking 2004 here. People weren't always on their phones. So you just basically, when you weren't interested in things, you just did what the kids here are doing. You just look straight ahead and zone out.
So what do? Got a problem. You package it. How do you package it? And here I want you to pay attention to me. This is bad stuff. I don't mind debating people who say, I was on a Hannity show, Sean Hannity yesterday, and Hannity, extreme right-wing guy, he loves these tax breaks for the rich and so forth, so we had a little bit of a discussion about that. Actually, it was a loud discussion. But I don't mind people who are upfront about that. Okay, give the rich more tax breaks, we can argue that. But that doesn't win you elections. So this is what you do. What you do is divide people up. When you asked me your question, how do I get elected? I said, I try to bring people together. We fight for women's rights. We support the rights of minorities. We support the rights of workers. We bring the majority of people together. And occasionally, honest people will have differences of opinion. In this room, there will be differences of opinion. But everybody in this room is in agreement that everybody should have health care, right? Question number 2, should we increase funding for education or should we lower funding for education? Raise your hand if you think we should increase funding for education. Okay, you're on the side of the vast majority of Americans. Okay. So on those issues, we bring people together. Now, what do the Republicans try to do? And they use it in what we call, kind of language that they not upfront about. What do? We divide people up by races. Affirmative action becomes one issue. All them black people are getting the jobs that we white people used to have. Split people, working class, white against black, instead of working together to create decent jobs for all. Those uppity women now, they want the right to choose. We'll split people on the abortion issue. We'll split people up on the gun issue. We'll split people up on religious issues. You follow what I'm saying? So you split people up And then they end up, if you're a middle-class person, voting against your own interests, and the rich go laughing all the way to the bank.
Ha! 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 That's a good one.
And they very often play white workers off against everybody else. And we try to bring people together to say, look, we're all in this boat together, whether you're black or white, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're Muslim, whatever you may be. Everybody needs health care. How do we create a health care system that works for all people? Not divide people up. Everybody knows that the kids, young people, do not make it into the middle class unless they have a decent college education. So how do we make college education accessible to all people? Not an expensive proposition. A tiny, tiny fraction of the president's tax breaks for the rich, if we put into financial aid, would make sure that every young person in this country could go to college without going deeply into debt. You know what? The vast majority of the people support us. But in order to do that, we've got to bring everybody together. And many of these, not all, and I'm not here to disparage all Republicans. Some very decent people happen to be conservative. I respect that. But some people who I don't respect will play off women against men, black against white. Oh, the gay issue, very, very big issue. Okay? Straight against gay, right? We're all supposed to hate gay people, so we split that group up. And then the argument, some of us are not patriotic. We had concerns about the war in Iraq. I voted against giving the president authority to the war in Iraq. Well, that makes us unpatriotic. We hate America. Divide those things up. And that's how they succeed. And they succeed with the help of the media. Because the media will not talk about how, in a sense, the common problems that Americans face and how we bring people together. And that's what I believe. I believe that on issues like everybody in this room thinks, I think, that instead of giving tax breaks to the rich, we should increase federal aid to education. Anyone disagree with that? Well, you know what? Most Americans agree with that. All of you think that every American should be entitled to health care. I suspect most of you think we should not have a trade policy which allows corporations to throw American workers out on the street and run to China. Most Americans agree with that. And our job is to bring people together on common interest, and some of these extreme right-wing people. You watch the issues that they talk about. Affirmative action they use to divide. The issue of abortion they use to divide. The issue of guns they use to divide. And our job is to say, let's focus on basic economic issues. How do we expand the middle class? This is a great country. Why is it the average American is working longer hours for low wages than 30 years ago? Let's talk about that.
What in the Marty McFly is going on? You mean Bernie Sanders, the alleged now time traveler, knew about the future 20 years ago? And then reminded us again in 2016 how this was all going to go down? What was going to happen? And we were all super jazzed. We were like, ooh, Bernie, yeah, let's try him. And the DNC was like, no, we got someone else. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. You can't always get what you want. You can try sometimes. But we find you get what we think you need. And then we fail. If only we'd listened to Bernie Sanders back then. Or in 2016. Where would we be now? You mean it's good for the American public to be excited about their presidential candidate? And I'm not saying people weren't excited for Kamala Harris, because Kamala Harris, with only 100 days to get her campaign going, she did. She excited a lot of people. But imagine in 2016, if we had listened to Democrats who were really excited about someone like Bernie Sanders. Will we learn anything from this? Well, that's yet to be seen. But in the meantime, here we are sitting with Donald Trump as the president, which obviously makes a large portion of the United States happy. However, for us who might identify more on the liberal, progressive, democratic side, it's very much less than ideal. But in the meantime, enjoy his upcoming economic policies. And have no fear, there are people who have volunteered their time to track the prices of milk and eggs, because that's what this is about, right? It wasn't about anything else. It couldn't have been, right? It was just the milk and the eggs.
Let's talk about that.
One thing about me, I hate Trump. Another thing about me, I love charts. So I will definitely be holding everybody accountable. Every 6 months up until 2028, I'm going to be keeping track of all of the prices that are supposedly supposed to come down, along with the federal income tax for my own tax bracket. Gas is going to be from the lowest gas station that I could find in my state, and it's going to be from the same gas station every 6 months. Along with eggs and milk, they're going to be from the same grocery store. Here are going to be the tax brackets for single filers in 2024, and 2025 has already been decided what the taxes are going to be, so that's what they look look like for single filers. Also wanted to add in the fact that inflation has been continuously steadily dropping. Right now it's dropping at a rate of 3.1%. It is November 7th, 2024, and we will come back to that in 6 months, and then 6 months after that, and then 6 months after that, up until 2028. But yeah, we'll be keeping receipts.
Receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, everything.
Will the price of milk and eggs go down? I can't wait. I'm so excited to see what happens. I'm so excited for you guys who voted for that. That's so cool. But what do I know? I don't even like eggs that much. Well, I mean, I do on my avocado toast. But I mean, I live in California, which that's like a walking cliche. Yes, I like avocado toast. And I'm not drinking regular milk, okay? I'm going to drink oat milk. But I digress. Will milk and eggs disappear altogether? Will we just start eating each other? We'll find out. It's going to be really exciting.
A lot of people that I spoke to who did support Trump, the reason that they said that they did was because they had more money in the bank when Donald Trump was president, which I get it, man. Times are hard for everybody. So why wouldn't you vote for someone who's going to put a little bit of extra change in your pocket? But if by some means he is able to put a little bit of extra change into the pockets of the middle to upper middle income households, I just need to make sure that you guys understand where that money is coming from, because it's not coming from the rich, right? Because he's cutting taxes on the rich. So it's not coming from them. And it's not coming from the government, because his current economic plan is going to put us in a couple $1 trillion in debt. So it's not coming from them. Where is that money coming from? Well, Donald Trump has proposed that we cut funding for Social Security and Medicaid, which, if it isn't already clear to you guys, that means that the extra change going into the already semi-well-off pockets is coming from the low-income households, from the legal immigrants of this country, from the elderly, from the disabled, from the veterans. It is coming from people who are already struggling.
Ugh, disgusting. Don't you just hate when bitches make sense?
So while you, or whoever, is enjoying the little bit of extra luxuries that you might have in the next few years, understand that your funds for luxury was someone else's funds for their necessities. That is someone's rent, that is someone's health care, that is someone's food, that is housing, that is food, that is money that people legitimately needed. And instead, that funding is being cut, right? So that you might have a little bit more change. And the rich can continue to get richer.
Sweetie, calm down. Go make a casserole or a hot dish if you're in Minnesota. Preferably tater tot.
This is very, very basic information. I skipped a whole lot of goddamn high school, and even I understand this. You should too.
In conclusion, we did not heed the warnings of the true progressives, and here we are with Donald Trump as the president. And Kamala Harris, who was more than qualified to be the president, much more qualified over Donald Trump, loses to him.
Congratulations, President-elect. Greatly look forward to working with you over the... Okay, no, I can't write that. That's not believable. That's ridiculous. You fought an excellent campaign based on racism and division. Yes, I'm joking. I know I can't write that. Our two nations share an unbreakable bond until, of course, you decide to break that bond for no particular reason. What's wrong with that? I cannot wait to smell your fake tan once again. What? That's personal. That's nice. I like the smell of fake tan. That's a nice thing to say. Congratulations once again, you big orange tit. Send. Oh God, no.
So whether you enjoyed this or you didn't enjoy it, I enjoyed it. And that, I think, is the most important thing. But I'm sure if you did enjoy it, you'll let me know in the comment section. And if you didn't, you'll let me know in the comment section. But don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you all next time. And until then, smile. America.